Hi, my name is Ayman Aitani. I'm a business growth specialist. I'm going to talk to you today about TikTok. What does it mean for you as a business? And what does it mean for you as a person? Just to cover some basics about the functionality of Zoom. So any questions you might have, feel free to ask them in the chat and the Q&A. I'm aiming to finish within 30 to 40 minutes. I'm going to do a live demo on TikTok. I'm going to create a TikTok live now with you. So it might take a little bit more time, but my aim is to make sure that we go back to our work days within 30 to 40 minutes. Any questions you might have, I'm available on Instagram. If you want to DM me on Instagram, I'm available for that. And also next week, I'm going deeper into TikTok in terms of how to add it to your marketing plan. So if you're interested in how to budget it and what ad capability you can do on TikTok, you sign up for next week. We'll share that in the chat shortly. One aspect related to TikTok, if you focus on what was happening in the news over the last 45 days between different governments and different entity and Oracle, Walmart, Microsoft competing for a $20 billion valuation, $20 billion investment. One key message is social media is not for my business, cannot apply anymore. My customers are not on social media. The target audience I want is not on social media. It's for the kids. When you have large companies putting in $20 billion in cash for a 20% stake, so the valuation is even much higher, and governments are involved and so on, it goes beyond social media not being for your business. So if government entities and large corporations are so vested in this, but you're unable to do this from your side, there's something off there. So just to show you a little bit more about what TikTok announced after they finalized the acquisition in the US.
The outpouring of support for TikTok has been nothing short of humbling. So thank you to each and every one of you for sticking by us and finding a true community on this app. We are here for you and we are here for the long run. That's why we're thrilled to share that we are working with a US tech partner to ensure that TikTok can continue to provide a home to each and every one of you, just as it does today, with no change to our users here in the US or around the world.
There was a huge interest in this. I was on TV at least 3 times in 2 days, and on radio as well, and getting calls at midnight to schedule things for the next morning. It was a big deal from a business and media perspective. Many of you today might still be thinking that TikTok is not for me, but you will be on a TikTok or a form of TikTok. YouTube announced a few weeks ago something called YouTube Shorts, which is 15-second videos, which is similar to TikTok. Instagram have Instagram Reels. It's still not available a lot in the Middle East, but they have Instagram Reels, which is also a form of communication of TikTok. So even if you're not on TikTok personally yourself as the platform, but you will need to learn so very soon the way of expressing in 15-second formats, and we're going to go through that. And keep in mind that all social media platforms, they start young and age up. So a lot of what's happening here is reminding me of Facebook in 2012, when it was between 2007 and 2012, where it was younger for the younger audience, and then you'd have your aunts and your grandmothers and your coworkers come in and so on. And then if you look at statistics from the region, the UAE has 25 to 34-year-olds. They outnumber the 16 to 24-year-olds. So it's not, so 25 to 34 are the corporate audience. They're in different jobs in different industries. So that distinguishes the UAE from that perspective. One aspect as well on TikTok today is organic reach. Anything you post today on Instagram and Facebook, the number of people who see it is small. But today, there's an opportunity when you post something on TikTok, the organic reach is very large, which is Facebook 2012. Back in old Facebook, for those of you who remember, when you posted things on Facebook, it would reach a large amount of people without you paying ads for people to see it. Now it's different in Facebook, and Instagram's organic reach is declining. So today you have opportunity on TikTok and on LinkedIn on this topic. So both TikTok and LinkedIn, anything you post today reaches hundreds to thousands of people with no cost to you. But that's a window that will gradually close, the same way all of the other social networks started with a wide organic reach and then it closed down. And if you're a business, you already run ads today on Instagram and Facebook and Google, you will add TikTok to your spend quite soon. And I'll show you a couple of things. Now, one of the personal challenges I had was to find a way to get business content on TikTok, because TikTok has overwhelmingly a lot of entertaining content. So it's about music and dance and comedy and so on. And here comes Ayman, he wants to do some business and entrepreneurship content there. So there were two things I had to crack before I was able to be comfortable on TikTok. And that's what I'm trying to share with you so that you can think about your own journey eventually when you do this within TikTok or other platforms. The first thing I need to crack is, how do I get business content in a format that is 15 seconds, that tends to be more entertaining than usual? So that required me being outside my area of comfort, which is basically on YouTube over 3 minutes, or Instagram, where it's front facing and I speak a few things. That's one. And the second aspect of this was how comfortable I was in expressing myself doing this. And I got reminded of some of the theater I used to do back in college back then and so on. So I'm going to show you examples of business content into TikTok based on trends there. And a caveat as well, they're in Arabic because I've been looking for Arabic outlets for me for a while. So most of my content has been in English across Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and Twitter. So I've been wanting to do more in Arabic as well. So I have two outlets in Arabic that I've chosen to be on, which is TikTok and a podcast in Arabic. So I'll walk you through what this means in English, but I want you to see the format of this and what this means. So in this video, I talk about co-working spaces. I was on many calls over the last few months where many entities in the UAE and Saudi Arabia, they want to open up co-working spaces. And the thought in my head is, entrepreneurs are not officeless, homeless people looking for space. It has to be more than that. So I address a little bit more about this. So I'll run the videos to see.
Now that I got a taste, I think that I'd suffocate for every second that you are by my side. But now I'm stuck at the gate, a Lucifer's estate. I fell in love with a girl I met in hell. So the simple format of TikTok here, when it comes to expressing yourself here, this could be in a social media update with 3 bullets, but there's a video audio around it, right? So basically what I do here very fancily at the end, what it means is, what are the characteristics when, what are advantages for you as a startup when you want to look at a co-working space, all right? And basically, one is if your team grows, you can easily grow. You can easily grow within that co-working space. The second is fast internet, and you don't need to worry about furniture and things like this. And the third is you can focus on your business as you grow this. So these are that's the whole thing, right? So it's 200 characters, maybe 300, but the format is more. It has an active way of doing this. This is another one that I did as well. It's also in Arabic.
3 أغلاط اللي بيعملها رائد الأعمال. أول مشكلة بيتسمع كثير على أهله وأصحابه. شو رأيكم؟ شو بعمل وليش؟ ما تربح. ثاني شغلة بيركزوا على الاسم وعلى اللوجو، بيقعدوا أشهر لينقوا الاسم وبيروحوا كل هالوقت من البيع. وثالث شغلة بيتأخروا كثير ليبلشوا. بيضلوا بالإكسل وبالتحليل وببكي وخليني نسيت هالشغلة، خليني أفكر هالشغلة.
So the topic here I was talking about is the 3 most common mistakes for somebody starting their business, which is listening to their friends and family, obsessing about a logo and a name, and thinking that their friends and family will buy from them. So those are small clips that I'm trying to get within a certain 15 seconds to 30 seconds, and within the entertaining aspect of this. So the crack for me was taking trends that people use and then adopting business content to them. So that took me a while to figure out, but whatever content that you want to do as a person or a business, that's the unlock that you need. I'm going to show you a bunch of different, more creative ways of expressing yourself than the ones that I showed you, but that's a high bar. I would not go that high as a person if you want to do this. As a brand, maybe, but you'll need creative output. So here you're looking at transitions, which is stop motion. For those of you who are familiar with stop motion way of making content, this is an example of it.
Your girl so fine, but her breath is like, ooh. She says she wanna dance, but she don't know how to. Ooh. I'm iced out, ooh, looking like a star. Ooh. Her name is Jenny, ooh, bitch don't have no panties. Ooh. I'm Steph Curry when I hit.
So that's the transition aspect of it. This is a fancy way of unboxing that you see the influencers. In the session next week, I'm going to be focusing a lot on the influencers of TikTok because there's something called the TikTok Creator Fund, how they can make money directly from TikTok even without brand affiliations. This is an example here about worst skincare trends. So again, it's the same concept of a title and a few bullets. And this is more on the music production and dance. It requires talent. And again, there are many trends for you to figure out stuff and how it works. So for me, I couldn't find a way to do this, to get this into business comfortably, or the last one that I showed you. So those are difficult ones for me to unlock from my perspective, but that's me. Here, when we look at the aspects of this here, we're looking at the different formats. So the vertical format, you look at statistics here about how the beginning is always important. And the beginning a long time ago was the first minute, and now we're looking at the first 3 seconds of being attentive in the beginning and how to maintain the attention towards the end. If you look at statistics from the region, we're looking at as of August 2020, it's always in the top 10. So it's between third to fifth, depending on the market that you're in and what place store that you're in. Now, one of the advice that I tell you, so before we do the live TikTok together, one of the advice I tell you is spend a few hours on the app, right? So spend a few hours on the app. I would say 5, 7, 8 hours on the app, not in one day, obviously, but just, spend 3 to 5, 7 hours on the app, consuming content, just to figure out what people are doing and why. That will help you get, you gauge a little bit how the interactivity and the options work in it. I'm active myself on TikTok, and I'm talking more about this next week. Those are sources for you. And then as a brand, I would look at allocating a budget to experiment with TikTok. And the budget, when I talk about the budget, you need to have 2 parts of it. There's a media budget, as in what you want to spend on in terms of media spend, the same way you spend on Facebook and Instagram. And I would also look at a budget allocation for some creative work. When I say creative work, you're not necessarily like a production, heavy-end production, but it's more of, to really do well, you need to do something fancier than, you need to go do something quite a little bit different, all right? So I'm going to be doing a live TikTok with you now. And the reason I wanted to do it live with you, I want to show you the small things where I'm going to create it now very quickly. It's going to be less than 10 minutes. I want to show you how you can create one simply, and how I'm going to focus on small transitions that make an effect, and also how some of the imperfection, at least now in the age of TikTok, now it is today, how it could be, it's okay to be imperfect when it comes to that, all right? So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be talking about, it's going to be in Arabic, I'm going to talk about 3 things to look at when you're looking at your webinar, right? So I'm looking at the interesting topic, that's one. The second, choice of a platform, and third is distribution. So as you can see, it's very light. It's very, I usually go heavy, I go deep, but with this, I don't. The format does not allow. And there are small things that I've picked up easily that that have been helpful for me, right? I'm going to show my. All right, so I'm sharing my screen with my phone. Let me know in the chat if you can't see it. So it's quite the format. There are so many fancy things for you to do here, but one of the key things first that you do is I'm going to try to make it within. You either decide either it's 15 seconds or 60. I can decide here at the bottom. All right, and in all of them, no matter what you're trying to say is, your objective is to keep some form of motion and activity. So you're going to see me doing, small things like this or moving around like this, just to show what it is. So first, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to say it's going to be in Arabic, right? So and I've taken a few notes because it's easier for me to structure it, but it's not fancy stuff, right? It's just it's just what bullet 1 is going to be, what bullet 2 is going to be, what bullet 3 is going to be. So it's not fancy stuff. All right, so what I do is there's a small timer here that I can use. I don't have to use it, but just 3 مميزات لنشر ويبينار ناجح. So basically, I just came in from the side, right? I'm going to do something else where I'm going to come in, where I'm going to talk about, I'm going to say 1, so that's a form of motion. The first one is choosing an interesting topic. أول شيء نختار موضوع مشوق. So basically here, if 3 مميزات لنشر ويبينار ناجح. أول شيء نختار موضوع. So you can see there are quick transitions from one to the other, and you can see here on the top of it. I don't know if it shows on the screen. There's a small, the small blue. I still have this much to go, and these are almost ready. So the second one is using an a webinar application like this. So I'm also going to come in from the side. ثاني موضوع انه نستعمل تطبيق مثل زوم للويبينارز. All right, and the third is distribution. وثالث واخر موضوع هو توزيع. 3 مميزات لنشر ويبينار ناجح. اول شيء نختار موضوع مشوق. ثاني موضوع انه نستعمل تطبيق مثل زوم للويبينارز. وثالث واخر موضوع هو All right, so the last one, for example, I wasn't focusing a lot because I'm trying to be with you with this at the same time. So I messed up the last clip. So it's simple. I just delete the last clip, so it doesn't affect anything else. You see I have a small part here, and I'll just say ثالث موضوع نوزعه نخبر الناس كلها على الويبينار. All right, it's fine. I won't obsess about it. So what I'm going to move next into is the text aspect of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that. So I just want to show you. It takes a little bit of time, but you get used to it. All right. I like the blue contact of this. All right. So with this, what I'll do is with every text, you can set a duration. So the duration of this is with my first clip. Right, if you notice here this transition, so I finish it here. So this plays here and it disappears on the second one. So give me a sec, I'll just add them all here. All right, what we'll do in the interest of time is I'm going to save it as a draft and I'll publish it just after this call. So it's a brief thing. So I just need to add the text and I'll go live with it. Even you don't have to be fancy here with the hashtags and the descriptions. So what you can do is, for example, a common one is called Alimni, which is Teach Me. You can see here it has 917 million views. And TikTok are smart. They figured out that people want to learn on TikTok. So in the US, we don't have it here. They have a how to or show me. It's like if you're interested in learning stuff on TikTok, they have a very clear category for you to do that. All right. So and then if I choose Zoom, let's say I can mix English and Arabic. If I choose Zoom, 5.2 billion views, obviously, for that. And then all I do is I click on post and I'm done. So for now, I'm going to save it to drafts for what we're trying to do. But this is roughly how you'd create a TikTok. If you have any questions, ask them in the chat anytime, all right? I'm going to talk more about what TikTok is doing in the region. They started in January with around 10 employees. Now they're more than 100. That's Dubai, right? So Dubai focus only for the Middle East and Saudi and UAE mostly. In less than 6 months, it's due to the growth during COVID.
And I like their ad campaign. It's about make TikToks not ads. It's a very clear way to tell businesses that don't go ahead and repurpose your old ads and just throw them on TikTok like you would do on other channels. Be mindful of the formats that are here and create TikToks, not ads. So the example that I showed you here was this one here was about, this was something that McDonald's did. They talk about their fries and so on. So this is a way that McDonald's did an ad. It's a very subtle branding. I mean, you know, we know the red and the yellow, but others would need to use their logo on this. So this is a TikTok, not an ad. Well, it's a inherent ad, but you get the point of not repurposing ads on that. And from the beginning, you have a lot of metrics to look at: gender, age, countries, and things like this. You can look at also. You can track e-commerce events. So if you want to, if you want to send people to your website to buy stuff, I'll just show you a brief video here.
Events allow TikTok to be notified that not only was a page visited, but a conversion was completed. We provide both standard event templates and custom event templates to help you create an event funnel. Standard event templates include e-commerce, form submission, consultation, and app download events. TikTok's Ad Manager makes it easy for advertisers by providing a preview tool to help you visually define events.
And then they talk about the structure of the campaign, how to do custom audiences. Custom audiences, you can have this on other social networks as well, as your address book, people who bought from you in the past, people who visited your website.
You can create various types of custom audience, including customer list.
Oops, my bad.
You can create various types of custom audience, including customer list. Upload a customer file to match your customers with people on our platform. The matches will be used to create an audience. Website traffic. Use the TikTok Pixel to create a list of people who visited or took specific actions on your site. Engagement. Create a list of people who viewed or clicked.
All right, my mistake again. And they're also looking at different ad formats, right? So how to vote, how to have interactive cards and so on. So they're looking at different formats for this. And what I found interesting is for them, the basics is sound on. On Instagram and Facebook, it's sound off with subtitles. So it's very different. And also TikTok is not the kind of thing that you can sneak at work or during a meeting, right? So we all do this during meetings when we want to space out a little bit. We open up our Instagram and Facebook. So I'm gonna open up TikTok now, and you can see it's just loud.
You're texting somebody who's not there. That's a problem. That's an addiction. If you're sitting in a
so
meeting,
it's loud, right? So whatever you do here is it's loud. So you have to be careful a little bit when. So it's sound on by default. What remaining the ads to be between 12 to 15 seconds. Vertical, obviously. The captions are the text that we're working on before. The small titles we're working on, and the call to action, which is visit our website, buy now, do this, do that. What I found interesting as well is TikTok is helping businesses make the bridge. So they have their own teams internally that can be commissioned to do services like resizing existing videos, repurposing existing videos, create videos for you. So it's different where they have it a bit more publicly available, where they are ready to create content for you as a platform, which is, you know, they're not necessarily 100% technology company. They have a bit of a media aspect. My feeling is they're doing this to help brands make the bridge in the beginning. But then brands will pick it up on their own later. That's the feeling why I think they need to do this, because there's a big educational factor for brands to do this. And I'll be sharing these, once you sign up to the webinar, you're added to the mailing list, and I'll be sending you a copy of this presentation, where you'll see different creators that TikTok is talking about in their own events, where they talk about different categories here. See, you don't have business here. It's mostly food and education and so on. So if I want to summarize, make sure that you spend many hours on TikTok. Let's say 3 to 5, 7, 8 maybe on TikTok. Just swiping up, going through content, figuring out what it is. I think this is the biggest learner for you. I'm talking more about this next week, and I'm also on TikTok whenever you engage with that. And then you want to have a talk internally about, you want money internally to experiment with TikTok. So that summarizes the key aspect of what I was trying to cover with you. about the basics that you need to cover, about the comfort zone of what you want to do with this. And I'll be, after we're done, I'll be just finalizing this, just adding some of the text, and I'll be sending it through. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them now, or you can do that over Instagram later as well. So Instagram is the fastest way to reach me as well. So feel free later on to DM me on Instagram. I'll be happy to answer your questions. And for those of you who want to stay a little bit further, for those of you who need to go back to the workday, that's fine. Thank you for coming. For those of you who want to stay a little bit further, I'm gonna continue posting the TikTok. If you just want to see some of the process involved in that. All right. So, and thank you for those who came, and thanks for those who want to stay. All right. So you go to your profile, and then you look at the drafts. Right. So this is the draft that I had set up, and I'd go back as if I'm trying to create it. All right. So this is my number one. So here, which is the number one text. So I'd go back to adding. So this is number one. And what I need to play with here is the duration. All right. So the number one starts with this clip, and it ends before the transition to this one. All right. So when I do this like this, it becomes this one, and then it switches to the second one, and then the third needs from me the text. So here what I'm saying is use an application such as Zoom or others. All right, and again, the same thing where I'd look at the duration of this. So it switches to number 2 here. All right, and then I still need the third one. Again, setting the duration to the third one here, so number 3. That's about it. I need to tweak a little bit. There's a bit of overlap, but it's not a big deal. The second one's showing up, and then the third. All right. So, and then what I'll do is I'll also add a bit of a music. Oops. All right, I'll add a bit of music in the background. So. And you play around with this where I reduce the sound, the volume of the sound, increase my volume. And and that's it. So I'll just add a few more hashtags, and I'll be done. That's the last hashtag I'm gonna add. That's it. Take care of the cover. All right. Fine tune this. And I publish. That's it. You can see it here in the top.
where
Who is this person?
it's uploading. Heads up, it's live.
ناجح. أول شيء نختار موضوع.
That's it. Thank you for coming in today. And happy to answer any questions that you might have over Instagram later on. Thanks. Bye-bye.